Now, once we had this shiny new interface for mySparkrock created, our first thought was, great, now what new things can we do with this? Our goal isn't just to put a fresh coat of paint on the existing mySparkrock, we want to add functionality to it. And we decided to start with financial analysis, one of the newest features of Sparkrock 365, and bring it to mySparkrock. So let's take a look at that now. The financial analysis tool in mySparkrock will show you in real time how you're doing against your budget so you can make up-to-the-minute decisions. You can see here that for these GL accounts, it shows for a given date range and budget, the budgeted amount for this period, the commitments, which are purchase requests and other financial requests that don't have a purchase order yet, the net change field, which is the amount spent, the encumbrances, which have a purchase order but don't yet have a purchase invoice, and then how much is remaining from the budget, giving this spending and commitments. At the bottom, these are all totaled up so you can see at a glance where you are. So that's an overview of financial analysis. Now let's take a look at how it works. To run financial analysis in mySparkrock, open the menu, go to Finance and Purchasing, and you can see Financial Analysis there. And to start with, we need to select a data set. A data set contains the budget that will be used, the filters that are set, and which GL accounts or dimensions can be used. It's also where you select who is able to run financial analysis for this data set. This is something that's set up in Sparkrock 365 and may need to be set up by your administrator. So see the Sparkrock 365 help for how to set up financial analysis. In our case, we have some data sets selected already, so I'm going to choose there. And we have our data set already pre-populated. You can see that this data set uses the 2024 budget and has a preset date range. So we're going to select that. And now we can keep the default dates, but I think in this case, I'm just going to run it for January. So January 2024. I'll run it to the end of January. And we're just going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to hit View Data. And you can see that our data set has these collection of expense GL accounts. We can see the name of those GL accounts. And like we described earlier, we can see the budget amount for each account, the commitments and encumbrances, how much has been spent, and how much is left over. And so, for example, you can see that for this account 67400, we have a budget amount of $1,500. We have $174.25 of commitments. We've spent $20.40. So we have $1,305.35 of budget left over, which means we have 87.02% of our available budget. On the other hand, for delivery expenses, you can see that we only budgeted $1,000, but we've spent $13,533. So we are way over budget on that one. Now you can also drill down and see more information about each of these entries. So for example, if I wanted to see what this $174 is made up of, I can select there, and it will show me the information about the purchase requisitions that made up that amount, and I can then go to Sparkrock 365 and look those up. Now we can do a little bit more advanced filtering with this advanced filter switch. So if I turn that on, you can see that we can then filter by dimensions. So in this case, my dimensions are department, program, function, location, and fund. We can also set the display currency, and we can limit it to a specific GL account. So if I wanted to just show that miscellaneous GL account that we talked about earlier, 67400, and hit View Data, you can see that it's just filtering on that one account. We'll reset that, turn it off. I'm going to close Advanced Filter. And then finally, seeing it in mySparkrock is helpful, but it's very likely that you're going to want to take this information and send it somewhere else. So in that case, we can hit the Export button, and it will export it to Excel. So yes, I want to download it. We'll open it up. And you can see we've got all of the columns that we had in financial analysis exported to Excel, and then we can manipulate the data further from there. So that's how to use the financial analysis tool. It's simple but powerful. Of course, since this is the new mySparkrock, we can't just show it on desktop. As you can see, if we go to financial analysis again, it works just as well on mobile. So if we select our data set, select our dates, run View Data, you can see for each account, we can see our budget amount, our commitments, our net change, our encumbrances, and our budget available, including the percentage. And if we want to, we can go back to the top and do our advanced filtering as well. So if you want to know if you have budget for that new passport, now you know.